There are two paths that one is attracted to, the path of pleasure and the path of joy. Which path are you on? One path leads to suffering and disappointment, and the other path leads to happiness and fulfillment. Now, this wisdom comes to us from the Katha Upanishad. It's a very small Upanishad, but it's one of the most important Upanishads there is. It's a beautiful story of a young boy's conversation with the god of death. The young boy Nachiketa, his father was having a ritual, a Vedic ritual, and he was giving some of his possessions away. So the boy innocently asked him, he says, "Who are you giving me away to?" And the father was busy with the ritual, so he never replied. Now Nachiketa asks his father again a second and a third time. Finally, the father in anger tells him, he says, "I give you away to the god of death." So Nachiketa goes to visit Yama, the god of death. But Yama is not there. Yama has gone away, and he keeps him waiting for 3 days and 3 nights. When Yama comes back, he's so taken up by this young boy. And he apologizes to him. He says, "I'm sorry I kept you waiting for 3 days. Now I'm going to grant you 3 boons. What would you like?" Nachiketa says, "For the first boon, I want my father to welcome me back and love me again." Yama said, "Granted." For the second boon, Nachiketa wanted to learn a fire ritual that takes one to heaven. Yama granted that boon and taught him the fire ritual. For the third boon, he asks Yama, he says, "Do we exist or do we not exist after death? What happens after death?" Yama hesitates. He says, "I'll give you lots of sons, I'll give you lots of land, vast riches, lots of women. I'll make you the ruler of this world. But don't ask me to reveal the secrets of death." Nachiketa replies, he says, "What am I going to do with this wealth when I know that you're watching over me and ultimately you'll take them all away from me when I die?" He says, "No, I want to learn about immortality." Now Yama is very happy with this reply and then explains to him. He says there are 2 paths that a person is attracted to, the path of pleasure and the path of joy. He says the foolish choose the path of pleasure and the wise choose the path of joy. And he explains, he says God made our senses outward. They go to the world outside. But a wise man who sought immortality, he looked within himself and found his own soul. And he also says the foolish seek pleasure and they go from life to life. And this is because their pleasures have no end. Their desires continue. And to fulfill their desires, one keeps being reborn from life to life. He also says that do not seek the eternal here in things that pass away. And that's probably the most quoted line of the Katha Upanishad. And what he's trying to say is that all these pleasures are temporary. They have a beginning and they have an end. If you're looking for eternal happiness, you're looking for eternal joy, you're not going to find that in pleasures that have a beginning and an end. He says, don't look at something transient. Don't seek the eternal in things that pass away. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't have any pleasures at all and that you should live like a hermit. By all means, you can have some pleasures, but don't let pleasures be the main focus of your life. You should seek the path of joy. Now, how does one seek the path of joy? How does one find joy? Well, he says, you find the joy of your soul. One, you have to turn inwards toward your soul. So you can't have all your attention pointed outwards. Some of it has to be directed inwards. And we do this when we are aware and the mind is still. And the main practice really is, for most spiritual practices, is to keep the mind steady and to keep it still. When the mind falls silent, that's when you experience the joy of the soul. Now, when you're on the path of joy, that path transforms you. It changes you as a person. You become a kinder, more gentle human being, more perceptive, more energetic. There are a lot of benefits of being on the path of joy. In the beginning, it may seem like a struggle, but in the end, there's so many benefits to it. So when you're given this choice between pleasure, the path of pleasure, and the path of joy, choose wisely. Thank you.